Hi everyone, it's Tawney. Today we're just doing a good old knock over my makeup video. We're doing a get ready with me, and I thought I'd use some makeup that I haven't used in a while. Not all of my makeup's gonna be makeup I haven't used in a while. I want to like preface that. The first thing you saw me put on was the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel Moisturizer. It's the one I use all the time for my face. Now I'm going in with the Hard Candy Smoothing Primer Balm. And this is my favorite primer balm that like hides your pores and evens out the texture and just kind of fills things in. I have the Catrice one and I have the e.l.f. one. I thought about getting the Physicians Formula one or the Makeup Revolution one, but I just like these so much and I feel like I'm never going to go through them. I use this all the time and like look at how much of a dent I've made, like hardly anything. So I feel like I'm going to have this for a long time. So like, why would I keep buying them? My Catrice one I've used up pretty well because the pot is really small. Like you don't get much product in it and I've had it for a very long time. This came out way before the Tatcha one was even like, you know, before even anybody even knew what Tatcha was, it had been out. And then the e.l.f. one came out like not long after Tatcha, but I find that I like the Hard Candy one better. And I got the recommendation from Emily Noel on the Hard Candy one. And I'm really glad that I did because it's become like one of my favorite primers to use on a daily basis. Okay, we're gonna go in with the Maybelline Dream Urban Cover Full Coverage Protective Makeup with Sunscreen. I don't know why it says protective makeup. Like it's, you know, it's this. I guess it's like a medium to buildable full coverage, you know, potentially buildable to full coverage kind of foundation. Whenever I first bought this, I hated it. Like I thought it was the worst thing I've ever used. It just didn't look good on my skin, didn't give me any coverage whatsoever. And I was just like, nope, not feeling it. And everybody was raving about how good it was. And I was like, are you like dumb? Like, I don't understand. Like, why am I not getting why you're liking this? Like, I literally could not find anything positive about this foundation. And watching these videos, I was like appalled that anybody could even like it in general. Well, then I bought it again to try it out and I realized I'm in the shade 112 Natural Ivy. I think the first time I bought it, they didn't have my shade. This is my shade like universally in Maybelline. I can get away with 110. I can't quite get away with 120 unless it's summer and I have a tan because it's a little bit too dark, but this is like my perfect shade. I realized that my shade was too light, and when your shade is too light, it tends to make your makeup look awful. It tends to just make you look like you don't have any coverage, like you're very dry, like everything that could possibly go wrong, like that I hate about skin was what like the lighter colored foundation did to me. So I found that I have to either buy darker or try and match it as closely as I can, which the problem with doing that is you can't test in store. So it's kind of hard to do that, but because I used to do like the one line right here and then see if it looked right. Or I'd even just pull the like, if it had a doe foot, I'd pull the doe foot out. Or if it just had a pump, I would pull like the little stick thing and I would hold it up against, hold it up against my face like this and be like, does this match? And I would get my camera out on my phone. So then that way I could see if it worked properly. Even in the poor lighting of Ulta, CVS, Walmart, what have you, I would always do it that way if I didn't have somebody with me who could shade match. Although I found that unless your boyfriend wears makeup, boyfriends are terrible at shade matching. I'll ask my boyfriend, and this has been like the ex and the current. I'll be like, do you think this shade matches? Like, I don't know. Does this shade look like the shade of my face? Okay, that's all I'm asking you. Like, I'm not asking you to like do brain surgery or anything. It's not that difficult. Like, I don't understand why it becomes so confusing and like becomes this thing that like they're unable to process, but you know, whatever. Guys are dumb. I'm sorry. Not all guys are dumb. It's just, I've run into quite a few. But, so, and I've also found that staying on the topic of shades and things like that, that if I buy too deep, it tends to make me look oily and like greasy looking like my makeup. Even if it's like a matte foundation, I always tend to get this like, it just does not appear on my face well, you know? Okay, I don't have any on my forehead, so you can see the difference. It provides a really nice like sheen without being too like dewy or glossy or anything. I feel like it's not even like a fresh foundation. It's like a smidge below it. But honestly, this is like the perfect amount of like glow that I want to my face, where it's just noticeable enough without actually like being that noticeable. But it's taken away the redness and it's covered up a good bit. I still feel like some of my imperfections are showing through, but it's not so bad that I like don't like it, because I want a foundation that can cover stuff, and if it can't cover anything, I'm not quite interested in it. And that's just my personal preference. That has nothing to do with the foundation. Like, it might be something you would like, but for me it's not. So it just kind of depends on like what kind of coverage you want, how comfortable you are with your own skin and your own face, because some people like having their acne show, and there's other people like me who want to cover it and bury it underneath products so that way you can't see that it's there. I watched a video. It's one of those story video things that YouTube has started coming out with, kind of like the Reels or TikToks or what have you. And I've watched a couple of them here and there. Like, if they seem interesting, I will watch them. But other than that, I don't like go out of my way to watch them. Unless it's like from somebody I watch on YouTube, which most of the time it's not. But this girl, she tried on an acne patch, and then she ended up covering it with foundation, and you couldn't see the acne patch was there. So she was allowed to, like, she was able to cover her pimple without covering it with makeup. She was covering it like the right way. So it was providing like the stuff to like remove it and all of that. And then she, at the end of the day, pulled it off, and there was like this ring. I don't mean to like point down here at my little bump, but like she did it like right here on her face. Whenever she removed it, there was like this ring, and you could like kind of see the layers of her makeup, and then you could also see the redness, but then her pimple had kind of gone away a little bit. It was still there, but like not super bad. And I was like, that's an idea. I wanted to do it with this thing on my chin that I've had some issues with. Now it's just a small bump. It's kind of an indent, so you can tell, but it's not anything problematic in any way anymore. Thank goodness. I've gotten, you know, through that. But so I was like, maybe I could cover a band-aid, because I had an interview for a job. I'll post the vlog and the cards up there so you can kind of get a overview. I'll post a couple of the vlogs so you guys can see like the whole process of what's been going on if you haven't caught up to that. But I wanted to cover it up, and then stupid me gets in there, and I'm wearing a mask the whole time, and I was like, did I forget I was in the middle of a panini or whatever people are calling it, that I forgot I'd be wearing a mask during this and it wouldn't be visible? And then I mentioned this in my vlog talking about the interview. I accidentally mixed up this for this, or vice versa. I wanted to put this on and instead put this on, so my forehead was like beaming, because I didn't realize that the highlighter is the big one and the bronzer is the small one, because the L'Oreal Lumi Bronze It Bronzer is in the same size pan as this. It's like the same, I'll show you because I have it right here. Like, look at this. Like, and none of my other bronzers look like these, or like this, because this isn't a bronzer. And I was so mad. I was like, oh my gosh. So then I was trying to tone it down, and I used my bronzer brush. So then I was like, I think I just made a mess for myself. And I think I just messed up my bronzer brush for the next time I put on my makeup. And it was a whole ordeal, and it was just insane. I am now going in with the L'Oreal Infallible Concealer. I don't know what shade I am in. I can actually get it back out and tell you that. I am in the shade 325 Eggshell, which it doesn't look anything like eggshell, but you know, it is what it is. That's just the shade that I feel works best. So sometimes when I'm shade matching in a store, I'll go and find a concealer in a shade. Wow, look at that. I'll go and find a concealer in a shade I know works for me, and then I'll match it to that if I can't pull it out and like test it, because I don't like to break the seal, because for me, if the seal's broken, I won't purchase it, and I don't want to do that to the next person. So I try to like just hold up the tube and like do the tubes match, basically. So that's a tip for you guys if you need to shade match and you don't know, like if you're trying a new brand for the first time, instead, like, you know how you can look up based on like your foundation shade or what. I don't know if you can do it with concealer, but I know with foundation you can look up like, hey, I'm the shade 112 in the Maybelline Superstay foundation. What shade would I be in the, you know, Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation? That's the one that's sitting right in front of me. But and it'd be like, what shade am I in I am in that, and it'll like tell you because of that first initial, like, I already know this is my shade kind of thing. So this is basically like you doing that yourself, which is kind of fun. I went outside and sat on my patio for like a good 3 hours today. I took my iPad out, then I lost on Candy Crush, and I got down to no lives, and I couldn't keep watching videos to like replenish my lives. So I switched over to reading my book because I think my library book is needing to be returned like tomorrow, and they're starting fines back up soon, which they haven't had fines in like over a year. I think since right before the pandemic started, because people couldn't bring their books back. So they're just like, just keep your book and we'll handle it. Well, we're not, you know, the libraries have started to open a little bit now. Now I'm going in with the Milani Translucent Prep Set and Go face powder. This is like the only one I use. I need to get into using different ones because I know I like the NYX one, and the L'Oreal one's not too bad. And I also like the CoverGirl Translucent powder, but this is just the one I always gravitate towards because it's my favorite one. But I think they might be starting their fines back the 15th of May, so I might be able to get away with that. But at the same time, my book is like due on Monday tomorrow. Today's Sunday. So I'm just kind of like bummed. Today is May 2nd, actually. I just wanted to, in case you guys were wondering like what the date, because this isn't going to be put up on the 2nd, obviously. But I am currently reading Cupid's Match by Lauren Preflin, or I don't even know how to pronounce her name. I barely even know how to spell it half the time when I'm looking it up. I usually have to go into Wattpad and then search for her. But she's originally on Wattpad, however I pronounce it. And now I'm going to go in with the LA Girl Shady Slim Brow Pencil thing. You can't even see the logo anymore. And I think I'm almost done with this, so I'm just going to keep using it till it goes bad. And then I'll switch to whichever one I have laying on top in my little caddy. But she originally used to write on Wattpad, and then she started getting her books published. So I've been wanting to read her one story, Cupid's Match. It was the first one that she's had published, I believe. Not positive, but it's the first one I've read that's been published. And I really wanted to read the physical copy because she said there were scenes not on Wattpad that she added in to like give you like, so it'd be worth buying the book, you know what I mean? So you're not just reading a repeat, which honestly I'd be okay with, because then I know what happens and it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a spoiler alert basically, but without like ruining the entire thing. It's just ruining like the big plot lines, which I'm not like totally against. Like sometimes, not all the time. But so I got it from the library because I didn't want to buy it just yet. I just didn't have the money to like spend, because I wanted to get a couple of her books. So I was like, well, I'll just get it from the library first, and then I can go and buy the book to support her and things like that. I might wait till Christmas and just be like, hey, Mom and Dad, you want to know what to get me for Christmas? Here, you can get me some books. And my dad doesn't like getting fiction books because he thinks they're irrelevant, but that's beside the point. And he used to work at a library. But, so I've been reading that, and I like 300 pages till the end, and there's like 390 some pages. So at least I'm like fairly far. I'm getting to like the good part of the book and like where the story starts to get juicy. So at least, and like from what I remember from reading on Wattpad, but I'm really trying to get through it. But I have some stuff to do today, and then my boyfriend wants to hang out tonight, so I won't be able to read then, because like we want to hang out. I don't want to just be reading, you know? And like, I can't watch TV while I'm reading because then I can't focus on both. I can only focus on one. And that's like not, you know, feasible for me. So I don't know if I'm going to finish it in time. And it says I can't renew it. It's one that you have to order from downstate, from like every county you can order from. And it'll just kind of like, it's this big database that will like figure out which library it's in, and it'll tell them, hey, you need to send this to this county's library. And then you select which library branch you want to pick it up from in your county, and then you go and pick it up once it gets to you. But you have 21 days, whereas the regular library doesn't quite give you that long. I think it might be 14 or so. Maybe it gives you up to the 21. I'm not totally sure about that, but I think that might be the case. And I'm going to go in with the Fenty Beauty Sunstalker Instant Warmth Bronzer in the Sun. I don't like this shade because I feel like it's a little bit too light. I wish I would have gone one shade deeper, but it's what I have and I'm not buying it again because it's like 30 bucks. So I'm just going to keep using the one I have. It's not the worst, but it's definitely not my favorite, but I'm going to keep using it anyway. But, so I'm going to try and maybe call them and be like, hey, do you think you guys can, because I know with downstate books, we can't renew them through the library's website. That's when you have to walk in or call in. And this was pre-pandemic. So I, know the rules already, but I might just call and be like, hey, is there any way I can get this renewed because I'm not done yet? And then I'll like bust my butt to read it. But it's like, I've had 21 days. I should have been able to read this book. Like, especially since it's a book I like and I know I'm like interested in. But because it's definitely teen fiction, like it's fantasy, but it's teen fiction, and that's like what I gravitate towards on Wattpad. So I'm like really trying to work through it. I've been terrible with reading books. I'll read a book, like if it's already finished on Wattpad, I will read it from start to finish in like one sitting. But a paperback or hardcover book, like a physical book, forget it. Like can't work through it, and I don't know why. And like I want to, I just don't. And I don't understand like where my like the opposite of willpower went, like my motivation to read went, because I'd like it back. Because I would like to be one of these people that can like talk about reading books and like talk to other people about the books they've read and things like that. But it just hasn't really panned out that way. I got this blush, pressed powder blush from ColourPop in the shade Jet Set. It came in this collection. I think it came with this, the Wild Child palette, but I bought this. It looks like a bronzer, but it has a little bit of shimmer in it, you can see, but I'm going to go ahead and use it as a blush and just see what happens. It might just amplify my bronzer and I'm totally okay with that. I like foundation, I like bronzers. I like blushes. I like blushes that can also like just work with my bronzer, if you know what I mean. I'm not sure if this peach is from me using a previous blush or if this is the actual blush. Holy, like look at my face. Because for my interview was the last time I did my makeup and I used this palette, the Colorette Blush Trio from Alamar Cosmetics. Really liking that. I bought that on Poshmark. If you want to check my Poshmark closet out, I will have the link in the description in every video, and I post clothing, purses, shoes, makeup. Sometimes I've posted Funko Pops before, so check those out. They never have the box because I take them out of the box and I just put them up as decoration, but I usually sell them for a very low price, so you're definitely getting your money's worth, especially since they're out of the box. And then I also sometimes do jewelry, but not usually. Wow, this is a blush. In my mirror, it's not quite as intense as like it's coming on camera, but holy cow. And I'm liking this. Like, look at the glow. I don't even need highlighter. I'm going to put it on there, don't worry. But like, oh my gosh, I love this. This is like really good. I like this. I'm feeling really cute today. I wasn't gonna put on makeup today, but then I was like, I never put on makeup. I watch all these videos where these people put on makeup all the time, and they'll put on makeup that they don't talk about in videos, and then they'll go to do a declutter, and they're like, oh, I love using this palette. And I'm like, but I've never seen you use it on camera. And then I'm thinking, not everybody just puts on makeup to wear on camera. Like, we don't film every video where we're wearing makeup. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, you understand what I'm trying to get at there. So I'm gonna go in with my lip product now because I feel like my lips look like poop. Like, they just look very bland. I'm going to go in with the Revlon Color Stay Satin Ink. This is in the shade 007, Partner in Crime. And I think these said they're satin ink, so I feel like they might have a little bit of a sheen, but I didn't want to get a gloss. I wanted more of like a mattifying liquid lipstick. But I kept seeing these everywhere, like at my CVS and at my Walmart. And I was like, I really want to buy these because I really like Revlon's lip products. I find that they're like some of the best at the drugstore. And I really wanted to try this. And this is like the shade that I always gravitate toward. It's a little bit pinkier, but honestly, I'm not mad about it. I can see a little bit of a sheen, but no, honestly, not anything bad. And I do feel like it's going to dry down, which is, I want a lip product to dry down. Maybe not dry out my lips, but just dry down so that I don't have to worry about it transferring onto like my mask or my hand, or like even when I'm eating a hamburger, I don't want to see my lipstick on the bun because that's disgusting. That's how you really know you're eating your makeup. And it's the grossest thing ever, but you know. But I really like the way that looks. So we'll have to do my eye makeup accordingly. And then I'm going to go in with the Iced Out highlighter from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's the newest highlighter they've come out with, and it's just so stunning. And like, I don't know what it is about ABH, but they can do a highlighter like nobody's business. Like, I feel like I will buy every highlighter they come out with unless it doesn't match my skin type. I hope they do a pinkish toned one because I feel like they could do it really well. And like, I really like the Amrezy one. Didn't think I would like it. I didn't want to buy this because it was $32 and I thought it was overpriced, but my boyfriend bought it for me, so I'm not complaining. And I really like it. So I'm really glad I invested my money, well, my boyfriend's money, in this super gorgeous highlighter. And it blends in well with the highlighter that's coming off the blush and the bronzer. So that's a good thing that they all like mesh together. So now I'm going to go in with my eyeshadow primer from Milani, and I will fast forward through this so you don't have to watch this because I use this in every video and it's not that interesting. So we're going in with the Naughty palette from BH Cosmetics, and I'm going to go into the shade Meringue, which I was expecting to look a little bit more like meringue, but it's this like very light tan color. I don't want to say neutral or nude because nude for me, which is what this is not nude for people with a deeper skin tone. So, and I try to like not say that because I know that like people of color who have makeup brands will call things nude that are deeper. And I'm like, well, that's not nude for me. So then I'm like, not going to use the word nude because it's not, it doesn't go with everybody. Like, it doesn't fit everybody. Okay, so I've done that basically just to put down on the eyeshadow primer. And I'm trying to get out of telling you guys how I'm doing my makeup in every video because I feel like you're not that interested. Like, everybody already knows how to do their makeup, but I still get in the habit of it. So I think I'm going to go in with Secret Santa and use that as my transition shade. And I'm going to tap it off because I feel like there is a bit of excess coming off with it. I really want to use Candied Fruit, but I feel like it would be a very inappropriate color. And I feel like this is what I'm going to wear to see my boyfriend tonight because we don't really dress up. Although he sometimes dresses up. He looks really good dressed up. But he'll sometimes dress up and then I'll be looking like a frump. And I'm like, thanks for making me feel like, ugh, you know? But I like the way this shade looks. It's a smidge pinky, but it also has that like orange undertone to make it a really nice transition shade. I really like the formula of BH Cosmetics. I feel like for a while I wasn't the biggest fan, but then after seeing everybody hype it up, I like used it more and realized that I did really like the way the formula worked, and like I was starting to like the color formulas, and like I've always liked BH Cosmetics. I always felt like they got more crap than was necessary. Like, people always hated on their makeup, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, I love their formula. I'm like, where were you at when people were crapping on them? Because like you were all radio silent. But now everybody's loving on the Zodiac palette. I sold mine on Poshmark. I had the Love Zodiac palette, sold that on Poshmark, which I wish I would have kept both of them because I really did like the way the color schemes were. But for me, I just didn't feel like I could work with them. But now that I'm trying to like get out of my comfort zone and like really do my thing with makeup, I'm like working, like I want palettes like that I can work with. Now I'm going in with Santa Baby, and I'm going to put that on the outer part and just kind of keep it in my crease and just keep it kind of light and not like super packed on. But so I'm kind of regretting not getting those palettes, and I've been really wanting to get from the Ice Cream Cone collection, the brown palette, but it's never been available, and I keep putting myself on the waiting list, but they've never emailed me to say, hey, it's back in stock. So I don't know what to do about that. And I've seen it on Poshmark, but people are like asking ridiculous prices for it. And I think it's just outrageous to pay like $60+ for this palette that's like $18 or something. Like, I won't do it. And I feel like those colors are exactly what I would use. So that's why I want to get it, but I'm not currently able. So, and then I watch Laura May Beauty. She didn't like that palette. She thought it was too boring and dull. And it's like, well, maybe if you don't use those colors, I could understand. But I'm just like, but that's like my dream palette. Like, that's what I would use every day. Do you see the patch that is not cooperating with me? I don't even know if it's the eyeshadow or if it's just me. I always think it's me, but then I'm like, there is the chance that the eyeshadow palettes are crap. Like growing up, I always bought drugstore products from like CVS or Walmart because we never had an Ulta around us, and I could never afford like ABH palettes, Urban Decay palettes. Like I could never afford those. So I would just buy what was in my price range, and like Morphe was like the highest I would go, because I did buy the Dare to Create, the first one with like the neutral shades in the middle. And I also bought the James Charles one. Both sold those, or one of them's listed on Poshmark. The other one I already did sell. So check that out if you're interested in those. Those were not my color schemes, and those colors were not quite as great as I expected them to be, especially in the first 35-36 pan palette. It did not work for me in the slightest. I did like my worst ever makeup look on my mom using that palette, and it looked terrible, and I feel like really embarrassed about it to this day. And mom later admitted she hated it, so that was nice. Like, glad you wore it all night when you hated it. You could have told me that, and I could have switched it out and not made you look so terrible. But, you know, your face, you're the one that looked bad. I'm just kidding. So I had bought these palettes that I felt like were going to be great. And then I was like, oh no, it's my technique. It's my brushes. It's the way I'm applying it that's bad. And it's like, I was buying those CoverGirl palettes that had the really thin lines in them. I was buying the Maybelline palettes, the L'Oreal, like the soda palette, the peach palette, those things, which weren't terrible, but at the time they weren't the greatest. And I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna look great. I'm gonna look so pretty wearing this. And it's like, if the palette sucks, nothing you can do is going to fix the way it looks on you. You know what I mean? Like, you can't make it look any better than the way it already performs. Like, if it already performs at like a 40%, you're not gonna get it to look any better. You know, you're just gonna be stuck with 40 or under. And it never really occurred to me for the longest time that like it looked like crap because it was crap, not because I was crap. So I kind of feel like you always have to, does the palette work, or is it actually you? Like, if you're using a top-notch palette that's supposed to work for everybody, not like the subculture that was like you have to work with it kind of a thing, but like if it was a very basic palette that should have worked for everyone no matter what kind of like skill you're at, and it's not, and you're not making it look great, then that's, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what I'm getting at here. Like, I always have to take that in mind, that like not every palette's gonna work, but some palettes will work, and sometimes it will be you that's not making them work great, and you just have to gauge that by how well the palette was made. And I just dropped my brush. Okay, let's see if we can drag it over with my toes. I pick things up with my toes, don't judge me, but I'm not touching the brush with my toes, so don't worry about that. My ex was so disgusted by that, and I'm like, you have a lot more to worry about than me picking things up with my toes, boy. Like, okay, so now I wanted to use Brick, but I feel like it's a little bit too purple. I kind of like Candy Cane, but it's a little bit too red. And I'm feeling this look is going a little bit like lighter, so I don't want to make it too deep. I think I might go in with Chestnuts. I kind of wanted to use my brush, but I don't know. I really like Ornaments too. That's a really pretty color. I think I'm going to use, well, I don't think Chestnuts is going to show up with the brush. Oh, well, that's actually kind of cute. I like it because it like doesn't have that base color to it, that base shade. It's just the glitter. I think that actually looks kind of nice. Is it going to stick? Probably not, but you know, we're just going to go with it. It's very crumbly, so keep that in mind. I'm tapping it off and like chunks are falling, which is like horrifying when you look at makeup, but it's okay. It goes perfectly with the color that I picked around it, so I really like that. It's a little bit brown compared to the other colors, but I'm not mad. And I'm mainly patting, not dragging so much until after I've already patted. Then I'm dragging just to blend it. And like spread it out a little bit. I like that. I think that was a good choice. I'm going under my eye because it like got under on this eye. So I'm going under on here. But yeah, I'm liking this. Okay, what color are we going to do for now that I've gotten glitter everywhere? It didn't really get much on my face, like right here. Didn't get hardly anything, so that's kind of nice. I really like ornaments. Let me swatch it for you. This shade, it like has this like pinkness to it. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. I kind of want to use that instead of Snow Day for my inner corner and brow bone highlight. Oh yeah, nice. It like, you can see the purpleness to it, but it's not so bad. I feel like maybe a natural light it will be, but I'm not complaining because I like it. It'd be different if I didn't like that. And I was like, great, it's gonna do that when I go outside. I like this. Wow, look at that. That's kind of sort of what I usually do, but a little bit different. So that's looking great. I'm really liking that. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with Santa Baby and run that all along my lower lash line. I find that when I do my lower lash line, I never put as much color as I used to because I found that sometimes there'd be too much color on the lower lash line and I didn't like the way it looked on me. I feel like it was too much, even though it probably looked fine and it was probably how other people do it, like influencers on YouTube here. But now I just like very lightly, so it's not quite as intense. But yeah, I think this looks really nice. So now I'm going to go in with my mascara. I think today I'm going to go in with the L'Oreal Lash Paradise, Voluminous Lash Paradise, because I haven't used it much. And I recently did a video on mascaras that, or well, products, but it was featuring mascaras that didn't do it for me, but did it for other people, like everyone raved about, but I didn't get it. And this was one of those products that like, I think it's good, but at the time I thought there were other products that were better. Like this is getting clumpy and lumpy and like not great. Like you can see it's kind of lumping up my brush, which that's not great. And it kind of makes me think I should get a new one, but I'm afraid it's just going to happen to this. Because I don't go through mascaras like other YouTubers do. Like I don't like ever have to buy a new one. You know what I mean? Like I hardly ever have to get a new mascara because I've used up, you know what I mean? Like I just buy something because it came out recently. You know what I mean? I'd like to be one of those people that can have empties and things like that. Oh, I hate that. It's like getting all over the place. Like you're on a chopping block. I'm not feeling this. Like, I don't know what the heck is happening here. Okay. So I have my little thingy and I'm going to go through and try and separate Clump City that's happening to my mascara and my eyelashes. Nothing good is happening. Like, the situation is not improving. I feel like this is honestly making it worse. Like, look. Can you see how, like, gross? The brush is helping a little bit. Not much. I'm very dishappy with this. Okay, this eye looks fine. This eye, what the freaking heck? Okay, need to deal with this situation because it's like driving me insane. I'm actually going to use my little tissue that I got here. And I don't even care if it smears or smudges. I'm just getting it off. I am not one of those people that can just use a spoolie and scrape it off. No. I want it off right now. Like, I will pat down with my beauty blender or get a powder brush and cover it back up like I will deal with the sitch. I don't know what the heck happened with this eye with all of that mascara. Maybe because it went all on my face, it didn't get on my eyes, unlike the other one. I don't know what the heck. Very unhappy with that. We'll probably be throwing that one away, honestly, because I just hate it. I don't want to use it anymore. I don't want to have the situation happen again. It's rough. Who knew that my makeup day of just pulling out some makeup and trying it on would turn out to be this much of a travesty? Okay, now I'm going to go in with my Makeup Revolution Hydrate and Fix Radiance Makeup Fixing Mist and just spray it all over my face. It smells good. It kind of reminds me of the like base smell of a Freezy Pop in the summer. You know those things that like they're juice inside a plastic wrap and you freeze them? We call them Freezy Pops in my family. And there's like 30 plus of us that have called them Freezy Pops as long as I've been alive. So they're Freezy Pops. Ice Pops, I guess you could call them. But it kind of smells like that, which is kind of nice. But aside from my mascara issue, my makeup looks great. There's Chad licking himself right there. That's nice. He likes to feel important too. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video didn't suck too much. It was just the mascara that sucked apparently. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and ring the notification bell down below so you get notified when I upload my videos. Stay tuned for the next one, and I'll see you then. Bye!